Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Girl Dad Show. Today, it is a special episode for me as I am celebrating both Thanksgiving and also my birthday. So, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about all the things that are going on right now and share with you something that's very, very near and dear to my heart, which is my annual reflections that I like to do on every birthday, and just talk to you a little bit about how I think about gratitude and perspective. And so when I think about my birthday every year, I really try to think about ways that I can look at the year that has passed and every year that I've circled around the sun and think through what that means for me, both as a father, but also just as a human being in general. And yeah, every year I like to do kind of a recap of what my year has been. That circle around the sun. And so I like to think about things that have gone well, things that didn't go well, what I liked, what I didn't like, the people that have helped me along on my journey, and people that have detracted from me, things that have changed about me as we all evolve. Every stage of life is different for us, and we evolve as humans. And it's just a great way to find a cadenced way to reflect on who you are, what you're doing, and where you're going. And so I really do love doing this exercise on my birthday for those reasons. And it really helps me kind of separate myself from the day-to-day grind of what I'm working on so that I can actually look at it more holistically and make sure I'm positioning myself to a life that fulfills me. And so I'd love to share with you kind of where I'm at and what I'm thinking about this year, and talk to you a little bit about what I'm grateful for Thanksgiving as well. So let's start with the fun stuff. Thanksgiving is going to be super awesome this year. By the time you listen to this, it probably has passed. But regardless, my brother's going to be visiting with his family and staying with us for the week, and I can't be more excited about it. It's been a really, really long time. It feels like a really long time since we all got together like this. But I believe he was here last Thanksgiving, and although we all got sick, and that was terrible, so we ended up just being sick together. But I'm glad that we're doing a redo, and he's going to be out here, and I'm very excited for us to spend time together as a family. We grew up very, very close, and we're still very close. But our kids also grew up together because he had moved back up to the Bay when he had his kids, and so we have similar age kids, and they grew up together. And so it's really fun to have the kids together and the families together, and it's really great. And so I'm very excited. This year we're going to do a lot more activities, and hopefully no one gets sick, and incorporate some games and even go see a movie together, and should be really, really fun. I'm very, very excited for that, and for that experience, and really reflecting on just how grateful I am to have him in my life, and really appreciate that he takes the time to come out and make sure that we spend Thanksgiving together. It means a lot. And as I get older and older, I realize that these times together are really what's very important. And much more important than anything else is the time spent with family and friends. And so I'm very, very grateful that he is coming here with his family and looking forward to spending that time with them. I'm also really grateful for a lot of the stuff that has happened this year. I feel like it's been a very challenging year for me from the business side. I have had quite a few hardships this year, and it's been a very, very tough one to tackle. And I've been reflecting quite a bit on, the year and what it's prepared me for and the ways that I've overcome the challenges. But I will say that I am grateful. I'm grateful for the experience of going through it, having a understanding and wonderful wife that is also my partner in overcoming these challenges. It's like a really, really, really interesting way to look at it in retrospect. Because I will say I've just been running 100 miles an hour, trying to keep up with the economy and the slowdown in small business and consulting, especially. And it's been very, very hard. And looking back at it now, in a reflective state, I don't actually think that it was. It's hard to explain. because I am grateful for that experience, right? And I'm grateful that I was able to pivot and adapt and come out of it, somewhat okay, and survive it. And what they say is like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I do think that I am stronger for that experience, but I am very, very hopeful that this next year of life will bring a lot more fruit, and things should be a lot easier moving forward. And the biggest thing that I'm grateful for is learning how bad it could get and knowing how bad it can get with multiple assets. And that experience is going to be rigid in my brain as a pillar in understanding, where the thresholds are and how much risk I have, that I want to take, and how much risk I don't want to take moving forward. And so for those lessons, I'm incredibly grateful. And I'm also grateful for the experiences I have with my girls. They are starting to really blossom into really wonderful kids, and they've always been amazing and super adorable, and I love them so much. But this year especially has been really fun for me as a dad. I feel like they're starting to find their own voice. They're starting to get a little snarky, make jokes with me, being able to like banter a little bit. They're also finding their creativity and outlets. They have really started to dive deep into things that interest them, and they're also able to articulate things that are challenging for them, and what they enjoy to do. And I'm having a lot more conversations around, what they find fun and interesting, and things like music and theater and sports, right? And talking about the school dynamics at school and making friends, and all of these things are starting to culminate into much more fun conversations. And that has been really enjoyable for me as a dad to watch them start to, not just need stuff, but actually start to participate in conversations and building who they are. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And I hope that I can do more of that in this coming year and spend more time with them, and be able to allocate some of my time away from business building to more time with my kids as they're through this kind of developmental stage of figuring out who they are. And yeah, it's been really, really fun. It's been really, really fun to watch them grow up. And it is happening way too fast, way, way, way too fast. And then I'm also really grateful for my business partners, and just all the team members that work with me in all of these businesses. It has been a very trying year, and I'm just so grateful that there's so many great people. You really learn a lot about, people during tough times, and when times are bad. It's a really, really great um, place to understand, who people are and what makes them tick, and at the core essence of their root, like who are they? Obviously, good times are also great too, to understand in who people are and rally around, and understand value props. But I will tell you, going through tough times together really shows your character and your values. And I'm so impressed with so many of the people that I work with, and so grateful to them as I look back this year for their tenacity, perseverance, honor, and just super grateful. And I guess in that sense, you never would have known those things unless you went through these tough times together. So, tough times aren't always bad, right? You got to look at it from a perspective of growth and opportunity. And I think that those experiences will make us stronger to ride this next year much better, much more fruitfully, and much more thoughtfully. I've also just like really had a lot of hardships over the last year that have made me think twice about what I'm building and doing. I'm closing out year 3 of my 5-year plan, and I'm really like having a hard time staying focused on the 5-year goal, because it is so challenging and hard to build this ecosystem that I dreamed up of 3 years ago. And I'm getting tired, to be quite honest with you. It's very, very tiring. And I even had someone ask me, how's your 5-year plan going? creates, financial freedom through, investment and building of these business assets. And I said, it's going really good. Overall, I mean, it's incredibly hard through the process, and it's incredibly trying. I'll work 12 to 14 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. And, it's just stressful the entire time. But I'm technically on schedule, and in some ways I'm actually a little ahead of schedule. And this coming year should be really, really great, where I have at least a couple of businesses that should start to cash flow. And that cash flow should start to allow me to consult less, which will then allow me to have more time freedom. And then that'll just keep compounding and stacking with more and more assets rising to that cash flow state over time. And so technically I'm beating my plan. But I had someone ask me, knowing what I know, if I would ever be a W 2 again. And I thought about it. And the stark reality is, if I knew everything that I know now and how hard it is, how bad it can get emotionally, mentally, and physically, there is a 50-50 chance that I would just stay as a W 2. But I would need to know everything that I know now, because if I didn't, obviously, I remember my mental state and emotional state when I felt like there was more to my life. There was more that I wanted to do, and more that I thought I could, have. Um, the grass is always greener, right? And so I just never considered it. It was like, I know there's more, but like there was a certain safety net that you can't even dream about how bad things can get when you have, W-2 mindset. And when I started building businesses, I realized how low it could get. It goes really low, and it gets really stressful and really scary. And it's much more than just, failing or emotional failure. It's like fiscal risk and personal risk. And it puts a lot of pressure on your family and your friends, and just everything gets pressured with this roller coaster ride of building businesses. And so I will say that it's 50-50. Even knowing that next year I should have a lot more financial freedom, more time freedom, I would still say it's 50-50. If I can know everything that I know from building these businesses the last 3 years, and I went back to saying, should I just stay with the W-2 or not? I may go back to W-2, because I think that there's way more important things in life than, building these, assets that give you time freedom, because you could build it slowly. You could build it through, other assets like stocks or ETFs. You can go slower, like with assets like real estate, and have a little bit more of a balance in your life. While you do it, take your, 3 weeks of vacation or 2 weeks of vacation with your family, and it's, it's someone else's problem to build that business. You're just a balanced machine or a person that has all these different buckets of your life, right? Where you get to focus on family, your health, your relationships. You have consistent, reliable income, and there is a lot of perks to that, right? Because the pain and stress of having this roller coaster, ups and downs, is very, very, very hard. And so, anyways, long-winded way of saying, I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful that I'm here. But I will say, for those of you wondering if you should do it or not, I would say, make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, because it's all perspective. What you have could be great. It's just a matter of figuring out what makes you happy. Because I always felt like I was needing something more. And I risked it all. I YOLO'd it, and I invested almost every dollar I have into building these business assets. And it's very, very hard. And it's very, very stressful, to the point where the point of it is to be happy. And now I'm unhappy. And I have to be unhappy for several years to be happy longer. It can go either ways. There's a lot of things that it's not easy to explain. There's a lot of different elements that go into this, but I will say that it all boils down to gratitude and perspective. And so this year for me, as I turn 44, I'm very, very excited to say that it's been a challenging year, but it's been a really good year for me to gain perspective and clarity on my emotional state, and really just being thoughtful about, what I have, and really being focused on appreciating what I have in the moment, and understanding that it can always get a lot worse. And knowing what that worse feels like has really taught me to be more grateful for what I have. And I may be a little less risk averse in the future because of it, which I don't think is a bad thing. And I think I'll be a lot happier for it in the long run. And I'm really excited to see how I can diversify my time from the business plan to more of my family and kids, given the circumstances and the knowledge that I've gained over this last year. And really hoping that all of this stuff will start to come to fruition. And even if I don't hit my 5-year goal perfectly, I'm actually okay hitting a lesser marker of it, so that I can actually diversify my time with my family and my health and my emotional status. So for whatever it's worth, that's kind of where I'm at, and hopefully it helps you along on your journey as you think about what you want to do for the next part of your chapter, or wherever you're at in your professional state. But for me, I just want to share with you guys that it's been a crazy year. It's been a really tough year economically and financially for me, but it's been a really great year personally. Feel like I've grown a lot emotionally and mentally, and I'm really, really excited about the stage that my kids are at right now, and how enjoyable it is. And I'm super, super grateful for my wife, for being such an amazing partner, and being so accommodating for the level of extreme behaviors that I'm exuding to go test this thesis and do this 5-year plan. I mean, it's got to seem so maniacal from her standpoint. And I'm so grateful for her patience and understanding and belief in me and what I'm trying to build for our family. And I just need to spend more time being grateful for those things and all of the things that I have here. So from me to you, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you get to spend it with family and friends. And I hope that you take some time to really be grateful for what you have. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And a lot of the times you just need to figure out what it is that you want, because you may already actually have it. It's just a matter of understanding it and appreciating it. So hopefully this was a fun episode for you, and catches you up on my process. If you want to use my full sheet, I do have a download on the website, and I think also on social media we'll share my annual review. But it goes over like all these critical questions I ask myself every year, including the people that have really contributed towards my goals and fulfillment, versus like the detractors, and then also the good and the bad. And it really helps you take a moment to just like stop and reflect, and it's a little bit like New Year's resolutions, but for me it's much more tactical, right? It's much more like have a plan, and then get into the plan and do the tactics, and then once in a while lift up and make sure the plan still makes sense to you, because you change and you evolve as you learn more stuff. And so this is my way of doing that, but it does time really nicely with New Year's. So it's also a really good exercise for you to do on an annual basis. Thank you again for tuning into another episode of the Girl Dad Show. Really, really appreciate your support. I can't believe we're in season 4 of this little fun project, and appreciate you supporting it by listening and showing up. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you on the other side of my birthday. Bye now.